Call this regular city council meeting to order. Invocation by Pastor Zach Crowley. He emailed me this invocation, so I'll read it. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and your protection. We thank you for always being in control. We know that you are still on the throne. We thank you for always being stronger and more significant than any sickness. We ask that you would continue to protect our community, our leaders, and our citizens during this time. We ask for your wisdom to be given to those who lead our community. We ask for them to have discernment, to know the right decisions to make as we move forward. Please continue to lead us, God, as we continue to lead our community. In Jesus' name, amen. So if we stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Here.
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 Remotely.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Yes.
All aldermen are present. The omnibus vote designation need approved in omnibus vote designation. Motion by Alderman Dorchenez, second by Alderman Bryant. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Here.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Minutes of the public hearing held March 16, 2020. Minutes of the regular meeting held March 16, 2020. Motion to approve those minutes. Motion by Alderman Driscoll, second by Alderman Skaltetti. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance. An ordinance pertaining to local state of emergency. Motion to approve the declaration of local state of emergency.
Mr. Mayor, can I speak to that?
Yes, Rocky, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, this document that I forwarded on to you by email some days ago came from the Illinois Municipal League. This was their model ordinance that they have actually recommended all communities to adopt during this COVID-19 pandemic. There is an Illinois statute, if you're interested, 65 NLCS 51-1-6, which actually gives the emergency powers to a mayor in an emergency such as we're experiencing in today's world, if we adopt the model ordinance. Now, what this model ordinance does, if you really, if you look at the definition of an emergency, it certainly would fit underneath there under the definition. I think you'll find on page 2, it talks about an outbreak of a disease, which is what or an epidemic, which is what we're faced with here. This ordinance, if you choose to adopt it, allows the mayor to declare an emergency with this COVID-19 pandemic. You need to focus on, and not be too concerned, if you look at page 3 and by statute, once he declares, if you decide to adopt this ordinance, he declares it, you can put in the number of days that the emergency powers will be given, but it will expire at the adjournment of the next regular meeting of the city council. Here we go, number of days that you put down. Here's why it's important for you. The mayor's done 2 things here. Well, one, you got on your agenda tonight a discussion about making some concessions about the payments for liquor license holders. That would require an ordinance for you folks to adopt to make those changes. If we adopt this emergency order of the ordinance, then the mayor would have the power to temporarily suspend the payment for the period of time of the emergency. But more importantly, as I understand today, the mayor took some action on Parkland, basically because of what we saw happen out there with another residential, close to 17 persons, and the calamity that took place there. I believe there's a work department now to put some prohibition about people coming in and restricting travel in and out of that's what this ordinance is. It's a short-term ordinance. It's something the Illinois Municipal League has actually recommended that you take action on. It's akin to, the governor on a larger scale, as an executive order. This just allows the mayor on a temporary basis during the number of days is specified to take this kind of action. And I would recommend that you seriously consider it and adopt it during this COVID-19 pandemic. Any questions?
Marty,
Yes.
would this allow the mayor to be able to put in a document that they limit the amount of people that can enter an establishment? Because if you drive by Walmart, anytime this past weekend, there was 150 cars out there in the parking lot, and they're not limiting people who are walking.
It would, if you look at page 2 of your D1, major variance thing, it allows all actions reasonably necessary to respond to the emergency. Again, the emergency is defined as an epidemic. The mayor, with this authority, could, on Walmart, we want you to restrict the number of people who can come in and out of your establishment at this time. He would have that power.
Because I think something needs to be done. I don't really like the way it's currently written. Maybe probably go over my shoulder. And I will never vote for anything that has any legislation for that. So I'd like to see that portion removed from it for limiting ammunition and firearm sales. I think if it gets to that point anyway, you're far too gone. You're not going to stop anything. But that's just my 2 cents. But I think we need something. I just think this needs to be removed. The firearm part of it.
If I may answer that, if I may answer that, there's no way I would limit ammo and things like that unless the governor made it statewide, and I think we would have to fall in line. That wouldn't be something I would even consider. Whether it's in there or not, I really don't care either. But,
Eric, keep your microphone close to your iPad so we can hear you. Mayor.
okay.
So I have a question for you. So what is the point of this ordinance if we can all just still vote to do these things?
It wouldn't, is to do it without having a meeting.
Why?
If you would declare something, if you adopt this ordinance, and tomorrow he declares the emergency, then he has then backing with this ordinance to make sure Parkland restricts travelers in and out.
But he already did that without this ordinance.
Yeah, he did that because he just was a good human being trying to stop a pandemic. He didn't have the legal authority to do it.
Right, I'm just saying, I guess I just don't
This
understand.
is what this is designed to do, to give him authority.
Right, but we're all still in legal.
Say again?
We're all still in legal. I guess I don't understand. I don't really care. I don't think Carter's gonna, I don't think everything in here, like you said, the ammo thing, whatever. I don't know that I'm completely opposed to it. I just don't understand why we need to have an ordinance, and no offense, Mayor, why we need to have an ordinance giving him all the power when we're all still available to be contacted.
When you say to be contacted, you're going to have a special meeting on a 48-hour notice to get together, which is good. That's a good question. You can do that. But under the statute, the only way this statute triggers the emergency powers of the mayor is to adopt an ordinance. This is the ordinance that the Illinois Municipal League says that makes that statute operable. If he does not do it, every time, if he runs in tomorrow and sees, I don't know, too many cars going in and out of, Kroger's or what have you, he's got no authority to do anything. So he called the meeting, you give him power. You can only give a power through this ordinance.
Right, I understand all of that. I guess I just don't understand why it's any different than anything else, There's building coming down, and we all got a phone call about that. It wasn't the end of the world. I guess I just don't fully understand.
Yeah, but that's a good question. Let me explain the difference between the two. Because you guys could meet, and you could vote and give him powers to do certain things, but it's not going to be operative without you adopting an ordinance. That's the difference.
Question for 2. Propose the
demolition and say you're going to ratify it like we did with the demolition. This is the statutory vehicle that you have to have an ordinance adopted to put in place. And you can limit to so many days between now and the next regular meeting. If you don't put the number of days at the adjournment of your next regular meeting or the next special meeting, as it says, the power goes away.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I'm kind of on the fence with Chris's comment.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if we would take 6 and 7 out of there, I don't know that there's any need to do either one of those regardless. It's on page 3, top of the page, number 6 and 7. It talks about limited gasoline, distributed gasoline, and it talks about discontinued selling and distributing ammo.
Yeah, just cross those out. If you think of it,
I don't know if that would make anybody happy, but it's compromised. I would feel better if they weren't in there. That's just me.
I have a question.
But I don't have a problem with this thing.
I have a question, Mr. Romano.
yes, sir.
In E of page 3, it says duration, X number of days. I've got a question in regards to that.
What do you ask, sir? Oh, yeah, that's the base, that's city language.
The duration,
E.
yeah, E, and the X days, okay? Do we have to go through this scenario again to adopt this? If we write that ordinance, as John and Chris is saying, to eliminate 6 and 7, I agree with that too. With the presence of that day, we're giving it, so would that be reflective to the governor saying April 30th would be the deadline? Is that what we're going to come
Yeah.
Is this on?
And that's a very good question. If you look at C, it is, page 3, Article 2E, it is really poorly written. What it really says is, adopt this ordinance, the mayor can declare an emergency. That emergency declaration will be, if you want to limit to the number of days you can, or it gives power to declare emergency for so many days until the next regular or special meeting of you guys. Or if you look at the last sentence in there, or the next sentence in C, E, I can read it. Mayor has the power to re-proclaim the existence of emergency at the end of each period of time, so long as the COVID-19 epidemic is still around.
Okay.
If I may ask a question there, you said the mayor has the power to reclaim that, pre-proclaim it. Does that have to go through us, or can he do that himself without us?
He can do that unilaterally. But he has to declare, if you look at the next thing that's in your packet, that's the form, that's the declaration. He has to recite, put in the facts related to that emergency. It has to be a bona fide emergency. And I think we all agree that the COVID-19 pandemic is a bona fide emergency.
Okay.
Anything else, he'd be hard pressed to try to declare it was an emergency.
Does anybody have a problem if we just do what Sean suggested, to pull section 7 out and be done with it? I think we need something, and I implore the mayor to work on this or gets passed, but limit the amount of people that can come in and out of Walmart. I mean, I went in the other day wearing a mask, and people looked at me like I was an idiot. There was a ton of people in there. So if Walmart's not gonna do it, we need to do it more. So I suggest we pull section 1 out, as Sean suggested, and,
I was number 5 out then.
do what, Nate?
Number 5 out then.
I promise you that, I will not enact that.
Well, I want to have my 2 cents worth here too.
I have to read number 5 to know which one it is for me, Megan.
Yeah.
Number 5 would give him the power to prohibit the sale of liquor.
I knew that's the one she wanted.
She's right on that.
If I may, I'd like to add my 2 cents worth on this. I am opposed to this because I do not feel we are at a position right now where this is necessary. We can all still meet at a moment's notice with this method that we're doing right now. If there's something where this needs to be addressed, I have a problem.
Kathy,
Yes.
you need to get close to your microphone with the iPad.
Okay.
Your voice is bouncing around.
Okay. So, as I was saying, I don't think that we need this at this time. Yes, we need the definition of emergency, but I think the full council can still meet as we are right now. I'm always gonna be hesitant to give away the power of the people to one person, no matter who it is. It's not personal against our mayor. I don't trust anybody. Also, I think that if we do something like this, it can cause panic with the people, knowing that one person is in charge of doing all of this without the rest of us having any say. I don't care for items 4 or 5, 6 or 7, if this has to be passed. Regarding a curfew, I would rather it be something discussed between the mayor and the police department, rather than a unilateral decision. I don't give away those freedoms easily. I don't think we should. I think we should take this very seriously.
Oh, so if I'm hearing, you were a little broken up, but I think you were wanting, if this was inclined to pass, in addition to striking paragraph 7, you'd like to see paragraph 4 and 5 omitted.
Yes.
But I just want to be clear with you, if I may, is that you folks, I don't care how many meetings you have, you don't have the power to declare an emergency or to take action on it. It's only by statute given to the mayor if you adopt this ordinance. So if you feel that if this is the time that we need something, and we don't agree with you, then you can adopt this and take away paragraphs 4, 5, and 7. I think, sure, I think John's talking about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what about 6?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, and 7 you can take. I think what the mayor, I talked to the mayor about this, I think he's probably focusing on things like that parkland that happened today. Those things that, for the safety of our senior citizens. And I think if that thing's going on with Walmart, I get stuck here. Would that be appropriate to go out there and have a talk with them and tell them, look, we got a national emergency here. You can only have so many people inside this building.
Another thing this might do, and this is just my opinion, I had a lengthy conversation with Kathy this afternoon. If you took a ride today, there's cars everywhere, and people everywhere. There are no more heeding the warnings than a man on the road. A lot of people are. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are, but every day it gets to be busier and busier and busier. That means less and less people are staying at home. So we can say it until we're blue in the face, but they're not good. And so I think not only does the mayor need some power, and I was going to say this for the end of the meeting, but I'll say it now since we're kind of talking about the pandemic. I think that as a city, we need to do a better job getting the information out. And I think the county needs to do a better job, the health department needs to do a better job, the state of Illinois needs to do a better job, the CDC needs to do a better job, even the president, everybody. They're saying as little as possible in the fear of somebody like you, Rocky, an attorney. That's what everybody's in fear of. Just sued or sending too much. And as far as I'm concerned, that's limiting the good quality information that's getting out. Or that shouldn't be getting out. It should be getting out all the time, as often as we can get it out, and as much as we can get out. That's legally possible. I know I can't say how many words it has got the coronavirus, stay away from it. I know I cannot say that for HIPAA laws. But we can tell people that there's confirmed cases in the eastern part of the city, or on Adams Street, or on, we can be way more specific than we're being. And if that causes a panic, I'm sorry, but this is the example I give Kathy this afternoon. If you're standing in an elevator, and you know the guy standing next to you has got the virus, you're going to get on the elevator with him, you're going to wait for the next one. You're going to wait for the next one. So the guy standing next to you, and he ain't got it, you're going to get on there with him. I'm just saying, the more you know, the better. And we don't know hardly anything because we're not getting shared the information that I think we truly need. And Parkland is, we're living that right now, and that information was slow getting there.
Sean, we talked today, and I would like to share with everybody what I talked to you about. Basically, we have to assume in the 3 months, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you have been exposed to this virus. You've probably been exposed and you're fine. You may be a carrier, but we can't avoid it, so we have to consider what our next actual goal is to slow the spread of it. People can drive in their cars, that's fine. They just don't need to be going out to places and getting into public areas, but there's nothing wrong with driving in a car. But as far as the virus, it is out there. We're not going to avoid it. Most people won't get it. Whoever gets it is going to feel like they were hit by a truck. and they're gonna recover at home. There is no cure for it, there's no treatment for it. So if you have it and you find out you test positive or whatever, you are going to stay home and recover unless you become having a problem with labor breathing. And then you go in the hospital where again there is no treatment unless they had to put you on a ventilator. These are the cold hard facts. This is something new we've never faced. But we do have to realize it is here, we're not going to avoid it, we just want to slow the spread.
And Kathy,
Yeah,
let me just say something already before you say it. Kathy, maybe you need to back away from the microphone.
Okay.
We heard about half what you said. So,
Okay.
and we don't know if you're on the right Wi-Fi with it now, but I think if you just let the speaker of your iPad speak into that, I think that might help us out better than just speaking the microphone. Go ahead, Ernie.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Because you don't have a microphone.
My view is different, a little bit than the rest of you. I would agree with a lot of the comments you said, amongst all the different things that's been said. But by the same token, what it does is give the mayor the power to do these things. It doesn't say he has to do it. In other words, if there was a reason that he used common sense reasoning to say that he's going to order the discontinuing of selling liquor or firearms or ammo or whatever, he used his own common sense reasoning to stop that. This doesn't say you have to stop any of those things. To me, he can use common sense reasoning, make that determination, and if he felt that, and if we felt that he wants to do something like that, then he can call the organ and get a consensus of opinion, and say, this is why I attended. How do you feel about it? And I think that he would take that input and use common sense reasoning and make a decision. So I don't think we're giving him power that he doesn't need. I think we'd be giving him power that he does need. And I think he uses common sense reasoning in the past, and he will continue to do so in the future. That's my opinion.
Ernie, with respect to your opinion, he doesn't have to call us. If he passes this, he doesn't have to ask us and ask our opinion. It will be a unilateral decision.
I trust him. He doesn't have to call me. I trust him his judgment, common sense reasoning. He and I have different opinion on different issues, and we've talked through them, and sometimes he prevails, and sometimes I prevail. So I don't have a problem with him making those decisions. So that's what I'm going to vote yes.
Okay.
If I may, Rocky or whoever's, I had a conversation with the mayor today in reference to this. We talked about different scenarios and what he was wanting to use as plan, and he has actually, like I just said, people's lives is what I think is what his greatest accomplishment be. But in that light, I will be supporting him in whatever he did because I trust what he wanted to do after we had our conversation today. I promise you that.
Can I speak up in regards to a comment, Sean? And this is just coming from a standpoint. I know that another community had a situation where the information was released about an individual who was positive, and it ended up creating a situation where the woman was getting death threats, and they had to place it outside of her home to protect her. So while I understand relaying information of more specifics, I think that we still, to a certain extent, to protect those individuals. I've received several calls in the last week of employees who've been really panicked and freaked out about this whole situation from aspects of people that didn't want to come forward to tell people, us, and employers, that they might possibly have it because of fear of how the employees would react, amongst others. So not that I don't disagree with you with more information, I still think that to a certain extent, not to violate the person's privacy for the protection, because this is such a trying guess, so to speak.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you. And anytime that anybody makes a comment about information, that's the exact comment that you get, because it's always specific to the patient. And I know that we cannot do that, but by God, we can say that there's 3 cases at Parkland. We can say there was 7 cases or 9 cases at Rolling Meadows, and we're not doing that. We're getting 1 or 2 words either in the media, on the newspaper, or something like that, and it's over. And we're moving on to the big count. I mean, media in itself, bad news sells papers and it sells TV shows and it sells that stuff. So good news normally doesn't come out. So me and Kathy had a big conversation about people wearing gloves today. Most people are very apt about putting on gloves. They don't know how to take them off. They don't know what to do with their hands once they get the gloves off, and how much stuff they can contaminate getting them off and doing something like that. That's the kind of information we can get out, not just Taylorville City Council, but the health department, the CDC, all these people can get this information out. And you don't see that stuff at all anywhere. You have to hunt and peck for it. And it's just, I just don't think that type of holding that information back. If you want somebody to do something, teach them how to do it, because they're not going to learn on their own. They're just not. And I hate to say that, the ones that know how to do it have probably been doing it. Kathy, I'm going to use you for example, Kathy, sorry. But, she's in the medical field, so that's, something that she's used to doing. I did construction all my life. You have to have change a flapper until I know how to do it. I don't think everybody knows how to do it, but guess what? They don't. I have to explain it all the time. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about saying Joe Blow has got the coronavirus meeting at such and such an address. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we need to get the information out quickly, and we need to get it out to people that's going to help the most.
Understood, thank you.
All right. Julie, roll call.
The ordinance is,
Need a motion.
is someone going to adopt a motion to adopt this ordinance
Right.
with submission of paragraphs 4, 5, 6, and 7? Under paragraph,
Right.
Article 2D.
We're gonna get rid of 4, 5, 6, and 7, but keep 1, 2, and 3, and Sean made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Larry Bud seconded. Roll call.
John Myrtle,
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez,
No.
Kathy Driscoll,
No.
Lee Landzadi,
No.
Jim Muller,
Yes.
Crystal Teddy,
Yes.
Megan Bryan,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Motion passes 5-3.
Can we repeat that real quick? I'm sorry with everybody, I didn't quite catch that. Just a roll call.
Motion passed 5-3.
I meant the individual vote, I couldn't quite hear what Ernie
The
said.
no votes were Dorchenez, I'm just filling this in for Owen, were Dorchenez, Driscoll, and Lanzadi.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, the next item, Mr. Mayor, is the motion to approve. We don't need that motion because with the adoption of this ordinance tonight or tomorrow, you can fill out that form and you file that with the city clerk's office and you declare the local state of emergency, and for the facts related to it, you refer to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Next is an ordinance amending subparagraph C1 of section 7-4-6 of the Taylorville City Code, boat docks.
If I may speak to that, Mr. Mayor.
You may, Mr. Romano.
Mr. Lanzadi brought up a very good point when I sent out the initial draft of this document, announcing a concern that if it was over 25 feet, he had some concerns because of boat traffic in the evening, they see something 40 foot out of the water. So with that good input, I drafted the language that you now see that is in red, and I think everyone has that. And what it basically says now, if on a case-by-case basis, if you decide to allow, and I'm just not saying boat docks, any structure from a lake lot or lease or property out into Lake Taylorville, up to anywhere from 25 feet to 40 feet, if you're going to make it that far, then you're requiring that entire structure, the entire 40 foot, 30 foot, or what have you, perimeter lighting on it, and it's visible 500 feet in the direction of the boat traffic in the lake, from sunrise to sunset. That's what this ordinance says.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I did address that back to the city attorney. Also, talked today to the board, the superintendent, and asked him about this too. What about reflective tape at nighttime? I know it doesn't work, but during the day, at least you can feel it reflects. So, what do you think about the perimeters of the boat dock that we're extending out that far? And my main concern is traffic on the lake at nighttime with these lights, if possible, would help. But as you know, solar lights don't last forever. So here's the thing: we have to, if we pass this, we also have to have some kind of reflective tape, like you have on your trailers. Most people know what I'm talking about. So thank you for the opportunity to address this situation, and both of these to go ahead and vote for this, however, with the restriction.
Well, let me respond to that a little bit, looking at this ordinance here. First of all, I'm just curious, in the evening, most boats, don't they just have the small red and green running lights? Oh, reflecting off of, they have reflective tape. How would they do it with reflective tape?
Well, that's true.
The lights, if we require them to be lit, it's up to the owner to make sure they're lit, and if they're not lit, then they're not subject to a fine.
Okay. But I think that we need to have those lights on the docks, that lead out past the 25-foot, additionals.
If anything over 25 foot, the way this is written, triggers that the entire structure has to be perimeter lit.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Since we have lots or boat docks out there now that are exceed the 25 foot, are we gonna grandfather those in, or are we gonna force them to put lights on?
Do we have some out there more than 25 foot?
Yes.
Okay.
In order for the boats to get there, because the water is so shallow in certain areas.
If you're asking me, I would require everyone over 25 feet to have these lights, because no matter how long they're there, it's a safety issue, isn't it?
I'm just asking the question.
You can make it applicable to everyone out there. It's anything over 25 feet's got to have lights around the whole perimeter. That's what you want to do.
Are we gonna require these to be, power lines or just strictly solar power?
These are like lighted lamps. These are not solar powered.
If you,
Again, we're talking about safety. You want to make sure they're on.
that's my point, because if you're talking electricity and water, they don't mix real well.
Well, but if we already have docks out there that are over 25 feet long and we've had no issues, then why are we trying to pick something that's not broke?
If we get the lake grid at some point in the next 40 years, it may become an issue. Or later on, too, right? I hope we're not just going to grab one little section right in the middle. So if we dredge the edges and can make them deeper at some point, then it may be.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
If I could ask a question,
I don't think it's an issue to go back and make everybody that has it now. I think going forward, I think solar lights do just fine. I've got some on every fence post in my backyard. See them from a long way off.
Then you can put here and just, instead of using in the language adequate perimeter lighted lamps, put adequate perimeter solar lamps instead.
I would think if you're looking at it from a safety standpoint, yeah, I don't think you want to have electrical power that
Right.
lines up.
You're on the water, and I don't know if anybody was in the Navy. I had a buddy of mine who was on the Navy, and he could not smoke on deck because the carry on a cigarette can be seen from miles away because it's on the water. So water, lights on water are going to be seen for a lot further away.
Well, if you want to adopt this, we're taking the word lighted out there in that second paragraph and just make it solar. That'll take care of that.
A white line, clear?
That's what, actually, that's just like your car. It's gotta be a white light that you can see 500 feet away.
Well, I put white light in there because it's.
It is in there.
Oh, okay, all right.
If you look at it, during the previous summers, a white light visible and clearly discernible, blah, blah, blah. So you put adequate perimeter and put solar lamps that each show emit and each exhibit and retrieve from sunrise to sunset, sunset to sunrise, a white light visible.
Good.
Okay. Roll call.
Is there, in your motion?
So we need a motion.
Solar instead of lighted?
Solar instead of lighted. Need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Olive, second by Alderman Skoltedi. Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez,
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll,
Yes.
Leland Zeddy,
Yes.
Jim Mullin,
Yes.
Driscoll Teddy,
Yes.
Megan Bryan,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
John Burnham.
Yes. Mayor votes.
Mayor votes yes. Motion carries 9-0. An ordinance adding subparagraph 4 to paragraph 1 of section 7-1-4 of the Taylorville City Code allows dual tenants of same lake lot lease.
And speak to that, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Rocky.
You should have got an email from me just shortly before this meeting. I spoke again with Alderman Dorchenez about an hour before the meeting. What you'll see is the red language there is that this ordinance is designed that all the lake lots have been leased, and somebody comes up and says, I want to double up with someone. This ordinance allows you on a case-by-case basis to allow that to happen as long as those two parties sign a new lease, the same lease, or be on the same terms and conditions as the original lease, or such other additional lease provision that you decide. And for such amount of the total rent security deposit, you may decide that, okay, we're going to double the rent, or we're going to double the security deposit. But those decisions, for when granted, this will be determined by the city council on a case-by-case basis, as new folks in your association will determine from time to time. Does that sound like something you're interested in?
No.
Okay.
Alderman Bryant?
No, I mean, I was a no on even drafting this. I don't like the idea of two campers there, even if the lake is full. I don't think anybody's gonna police it. I think it's gonna become a crowded mess, and I'm just not in favor of it.
And I pointed that out to Ernie in my discussion. I said, I'm not sure that who would want it to be doubled up, because what's going to happen is if he and I decide to share a lake lot, where's his tent going to go? Where's mine? He has a big alcohol party. I'm not there. I'm on the hook for that lease. I'm going to be liable for it. I just drafted it. If you wanted it, this is a way to do it.
Well, if I might add, the discussion at the committee meeting was that one guy in particular thought it would be fine if his daughter put a camper on his lake lot where they could come at most of the time and basically share the lot, was the discussion at the committee.
Well, I mean, if this ordinance states so that every lot's got to be rented,
Yes.
Right.
so that's not looking at this year.
Yeah. So,
That's the way the motion came out of the
Okay.
council.
do I have a motion to allow two campers on one lake lot
Pursuant to this ordinance.
pursuant to this ordinance? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Was that a motion by Alderman Dorchenez? Second by Alderman Skoltedi?
I have a comment.
Comment, Alderman Dorchenez?
Okay, I'm not principally leading this effort to get to on a lake lot. We've had a lot of people, I understand, Rocky's right. We're opening ourselves up to the problem, but there's been a lot of people that have requested this. And I talked to Superintendent Biles about this, and because he has worked out there, he's heard this over and over. And so now that he's superintendent, and they've come to him and asked
Well-
calls of people giving up their lots.
But there's a waiting list though to replace those people that are giving up lots. There's a big waiting list.
This particular ordinance allows it if all the lots are rented, correct?
Correct.
Right. It will not allow it if they're not all rented.
It's not allowed if they're not all rented.
Okay? We got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll,
No.
Eddie Lansdowne,
Oh.
Jim Mullins,
No.
Bristol Teddy,
Yes.
Maggie Grant,
No.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
John Myrtle. John?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yes.
Ernie Dorchin,
Yes.
Mayor Barry votes yes. Motion carries 5-4.
Yeah, I have one more comment.
Okay?
Okay, we can try, just because we're putting, allowing to do this, okay? If after one season it doesn't work, we can change it.
That's right.
And it's on a case-by-case basis anyhow, so we still have the authority not to allow it.
That's correct.
So, correct. All right, thank you. An ordinance prohibiting burning of leaves, vegetation, weeds, grass, clippings, and tree limbs during COVID-19 pandemic. Need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Driscoll. Second
Second?
by Alderman Dorchenez.
I got a comment.
Comment, Alderman Bertle.
When you called me about this, I'm in favor of it because I don't want to see anybody else go to the hospital that doesn't necessarily have to go for something like this. But any other time, and from here on out, I am not going to be in favor of not burning leaves, ever. It's kind of like giving up guns. It's one of them things that I feel like I've got health issues, and I know other people do too, but I feel like that you can avoid the leaf burning smoke if you choose to. But the easiest way to do is to complain because you have a health issue. I mean, I wish I could complain about all my health issues and make you do everything in your power to make it more palatable to me to go out every day. But you can't do that for each and every ailment that's out there. But I do understand this particular case because we don't want to overload, or we don't want one more patient up to the hospital than necessary right now.
Correct, Alderman Bertle, and that's why I thought we should put it in place, so, roll call.
Yes.
Lee Landzadi, did you say yes?
Yes.
Great. Jim Mullins,
Yes.
Bristol Teddy,
Oh.
Maggie Grant,
No.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Who?
yes.
Me? Yes.
Ernie Dorchin,
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll,
Yes, with comment.
Motion carries 6-2.
votes.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries 7-2. Comment, Alderman Driscoll.
My comment was simply in agreement with Sean that this needs to be a temporary situation. I also will not vote to extend it.
Right. An ordinance to rescind ordinance number 3950 and approving and authorizing execution of business
No, Mayor,
development.
whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. An ordinance
Hey,
of,
Bruce, you're gonna have to talk a little bit closer to the iPad. I can just barely make you out.
let me move my iPad closer.
Move your speaker away.
Okay? Got me? Can you hear me now? An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of amendment to the business district agreement by and between the city of Taylorville and Robert Steiner and Rebecca Steiner.
So
And
moved.
what, a motion by Alderman Bud, second. Second by Alderman Dorchenez, comment by the mayor. What this pertains to, the original agreement, they had to have the work done by January 1st. Their contractor did not perform the work and was unable to, and they don't think the work will be done until May or June, so we extended it to July 1st. And so it's the same thing that we already approved, we're just giving them 6 more months to approve the work and pay for it. So,
And just back up a little bit from your iPad, just a little bit.
all right. Roll call.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Chris Coltetti,
Yes.
Megan Bryant,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
John Burrow,
Yes.
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll,
Yes.
Lee Landzadi,
Yes.
Mayor Barry.
Yes, motion carries 9-0.
Mr. Mayor, may I speak as to the next 2 topics briefly?
Yes, you can,
This
Roger.
is the ordinance on the Travis Parker matter, and this is a resolution that we, I think, can talk briefly about. This is on the demolition of one building that's now been torn down. And I believe you'll see in the bills tonight. I understand, I haven't seen it, but I think the bill for the demolition is like $46,825, as I recall. The mayor is still having discussions with Mr. Parker. That's a agreement as of yet, so I suggested to him, until, Mr. Parker comes up with a definitive number that he's going to do, then we'll ask the BDD attorney to, prepare this ordinance that will rescind the 3950 ordinance. And we will do one for Travis Parker, and then I'll tweak the agreement that you guys originally saw. I think I'll let the mayor expand on it, but I think, he's got a plan in place, and I think Mr. Parker is considering what the mayor's talking about. Then you want to tell them what you're thinking.
Well, if you all remember, the original agreement was him to pay $56,000 back over a 112-month period at $500 per month. Well, as you know, with the BDD committee, if you spend upwards of $50,000, the BDD committee will reimburse you 25%. So that's if you pay for everything up front. So in looking at these figures, the BDD committee will pay this bill, $46,825 up front. And then with talking with Parker, if we would give him the 25%, which we did, he would pay the rest. But I also think the city should get interest on this money. So what I proposed to him, that he would pay $500 per month over a 7-year period, which would be 84 months. So in the long run, he would pay $42,000 out of the $46,825, which if he paid this up front, the BDD would reimburse him $11,800 and some dollars, whatever. His bill would be $35,119 if you figure it out. So he would be paying us over almost $7,000 in interest, which would somehow be about 5 to 5.5% interest on the money. Now that's what I proposed to him. He said he would talk it over with his lawyer, and I think if we agree to that, that he will probably agree to that. That's
And I
my
think,
opinion.
Mr. Mayor, just to anticipate a question, I believe, and I asked a question also, you asked them to see if he had the financial ability to go out and borrow the money and pay it that amount up front, and he made it clear to you he did not
He
have
did
the
not
money
have
about
that,
it.
yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So if, I guess where it's left at, if the council is of a mind to go along with that proposal, we don't take action tonight. If and when the proposal gets reduced to writing, then the mayor can call a special meeting, like we're doing now during this COVID-19, by remote, and to get that ordinance and agreement approved.
I got a comment.
Comment, go ahead.
Well, early on, there was some talk about that being like an automatic draft like the water department does with water bills, where he would pay that automatically without us relying on him to remember.
Right, he put that in the original agreement. He put that in the original agreement is what he had emailed to me, that he would like it to be an automatic draft.
Well, I think if he's willing to do that, I think that's something we should explore, because that way we know we'll draw that out every month and there won't be any question whether he remembers, whether he pays it or
agree. Do you think that's a fair agreement with both the city and the proprietor?
I'm fear that if we don't do something with him in some kind of agreement, that we'll end up losing money in the long run, or not getting anything. So if he's got the wherewithal to pay the $500 a month, at least we're getting the money back with interest in comparison to where he can just walk away and say, you can have the property, which is not gonna miss it again.
I agree.
All right. Motion to approve that agreement? Motion by Alderman Scultetti, second. Second?
Second.
That was an agreement, yeah.
Pardon?
What he's doing there is, as you know, it's, instead of adopting the resolution, let's do it this way. Mr. Mayor, I think if the council, is there anybody opposed to that agreement? So let the mayor know. Otherwise, Mayor, I think you just proceed on that line, and we see if we can get the agreement put together through his attorney and get it back to the council if they do the formal approval through the new VDD ordinance and the new resolution.
Okay.
You wanna table this, Rocky?
We're not tabling it. He's just asking now, is anyone opposed to the direction that the mayor's taking?
No, can I make a comment?
Yes.
I kind of agree with Sean's idea on that automatic draft. That way it secures and we're assured that we're going to get that. He doesn't lose, Travis Market, Travis doesn't lose context that he's not making a payment just in case. And I like what Sean said. I think that is a very good scenario to get that involved. Make it be part of ordinance, Rocky.
And so it's actually in my initial draft agreement, that's in there.
Oh, okay. So, yes, in other words, I support this.
All right. So it looks like we got a consensus of everyone supporting this, that we tried to get him to pay 7 years at $500 per year. All right, thank you. Resolution, a resolution authorizing execution of agreement to demolish the property.
No, that's what we're gonna do later.
Okay.
Should we get a motion, did we vote on that, then?
No, all you did was no one's opposed to his direction. He's gonna go on that way.
Oh, okay. Very
The next one, we need to change the catch basin, easement.
Well, the next one's the James Park storm, which we're gonna table that because we have not reached an easement agreement with the park yet.
No, this is okay, cause that's the Fair Association easement, so do you wanna adopt that? And if the park doesn't want to do anything, you just wanna hold off on it. This resolution for the easement that's on Christian County Fair Association property after it comes off the west side of the park district property.
Okay.
So we got one squared away, we don't have the second one squared away?
The park district hasn't responded to the mayor yet.
Well, this one says on here for James Park, so.
Well, it's the James Park Storm Sewer Project. This is part of that project because the storm sewer is going to go up on the east, you got it. Going to come up the west side and go up towards the Fair Association.
So it's 100 foot onto the fair property.
Yeah.
Hey there, big boy.
Hey,
All right.
Roscoe.
Roscoe.
So we wanna table this?
Well, I mean, what if the park district comes back and says, yeah, we'll do it, now we gotta come back and do this resolution for the fair. This is just approving that easement. You don't
Okay.
have to sign it until they do.
All right, so we'll approve this easement. I got a motion?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Driscoll. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, a resolution to approve the catch basin easement agreement with Marcia Blackman.
For that,
What's that?
I think that needs a roll call for that.
It's just a resolution.
I know, we always have a roll call for a resolution.
Okay, roll call.
Yeah. David Bozetti,
Yes.
Megan Ray,
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
John Burns,
Yes.
Randy Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. The next, a resolution to approve the catch basin easement agreement, Marshall Blackman property.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Skaltedi. Questions or comments?
Just so I got this straight, Jim, this is for catch basin only and an easement for the pipe, but they're providing the pipe and the installation of the pipe, correct?
Yes, I think it's so stated in, Rocky's paperwork that it says that,
I think that's what Kathy and I agreed on. Kathy, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's it.
You got the right to clean out the pipe if you don't have the application to do it.
Right.
And they gotta put the pipe connected at their own expense, according to whatever you decide to sponsor, what kind of pipe.
John and I have talked to Steve Millings in regards to that, and he is in agreement with it. So we should be good to go as soon as we get this, easement.
Okay. Roll call.
Megan Bryan,
Yes.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
John Bertle,
Yes.
Steve Martinez,
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll,
Yes.
Lee Landzadi,
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes,
Chris Popetti.
Motion carries 8-0. Turn your page. Motion to approve the special payment provisions for liquor license holders. Since the liquor stores have been closed for possibly at least 6 weeks, if they're allowed to open on May 1st, I would like to give them a little grace period, have them pay a third of their liquor license fee by June 1st and 2/3 by July 1st. And also, what I've discussed with some of them, is that maybe we could rebate some of them for the liquor license fees that they didn't get to sell liquor, which would be approximately 6 weeks. And we could rebate that pro rata per day or per week or month, is what I suppose. And what this did, if you paid $3,000 this year for your liquor license fee, you would be approximately rebated $375 the following year, which I propose that we make them pay $625 by June 1st and then $2,000 by July 1st. If you only paid, I think the A1s of it was like $1,250, you'd get back $150 odd, whatever that adds up to, and that would be rebated on your first payment in June. And so, like, and most of them are going up to $3,000 this year. So in that case, they would pay $850 June 1st and then $2,000 on July 1st. That's
Now
just
your
comment, Alderman Brian.
I'm all for giving them a little time to pay it, but I don't think the city is in any sort of situation to be discounting any kind of fees. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not discounting next year's fees, I'm just giving them sort of a fee from this past year because they were not able to be open for a 6-week period.
All I'm saying is, I think they should still have to pay the full price. If we want to
Okay.
give them a little bit of time, you know, I lack the compassion. Compassion department, Michelle. Sometimes, but, I mean, to me, I wasn't waiting, you wouldn't be waiting for your business to make money these last 6 weeks to pay your bill anyway, like, you know it's coming, but whatever, I mean, I would be in favor of giving a little grace period to pay it, but not for reduced space.
Okay.
Comment as well.
Comment, Alderman Driscoll?
I agree, I have no problem with pushing it back a little bit to give them the time to pay, but I don't like the rebate of the 6 weeks.
Okay, well, they were unable to sell liquor for 6 weeks, is why I came up with that figure. They paid for a 52-week license, and they were only able to use it for 46. So I think they should get some type of rebate myself.
I
but-
think they're whole year at school. I want my kids to go back.
So, okay,
The liquor commission,
I need a motion to, what's that?
have you checked with the liquor commission on that?
No, well, I know the state's allowing them to pay their license on July 1st.
So what's the motion then to approve?
Well, I mean, we can discuss this, we don't have to make this decision, so maybe we don't want a motion now. Let's discuss it, hopefully we can come to some type of motion, at the next meeting on the 20th.
We will have to get liquor license letters out and billing statements out, and I know that Cindy and Tracy have already started on that, so this does need to be done in some kind of timely manner.
I agree.
Okay,
Well,
what,
should we at least-
we've had two aldermen that don't think we should give any rebate, what's the other alderman think?
Do we have to do it together, Bruce, or can we do the letting them pay the two separate fees tonight and then discuss we got until next year to decide whether we're gonna rebate it to them or not. We can talk about that
Yeah,
later.
okay, that's fine, so we need a motion to make them pay 1/3 by June 1st and 2/3 by July 1st, is that, can I get a motion for that?
Okay, so you're talking, would be $1,000 June 1st and 2,000 July 1st. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
On the liquor license, or just does have gaming?
Well, all the liquor license would be able to pay that, I've just used the $3,000 with gaming as a example, like, if your liquor license was 800, which I think that's what packaged liquor, you'd be able to pay 1/3 by June 1st and 2/3 by July 1st.
I have a question.
We got a motion by Alderman Driscoll and a second by Alderman Bud, and now we got a question by Alderman Bud.
Can I make a comment, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, just as soon as Alderman Bud does.
Okay.
My question is this, let's say that this would have to get extended into May. Then what happens?
We can,
Well, then it's not going to.
yeah, we have to send the liquor licenses out now, is why
Well,
Julian's saying we need
just
to.
saying, this could go longer than what we think.
Well, then we can always come back at a later meeting and amend it.
I had 2 calls about it today.
Okay?
Okay.
So, all right, Alderman Lanzotti?
The video gaming goes, I don't care if they get a rebate, and I don't care if they can pay their liquor license, to be quite honest with you.
Alderman Lanzotti?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment on that. Just like any other business, they're actually being hurt, at that time. And I kind of agree with you, Mr. Mayor, to do that as a rebate because of the loss. They can, incur that loss, through IRS. And sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
However, I think you're, going the right way when you say that we could give them a rebate. Doesn't necessarily have to be done right now. We can look at that for the future coming up this year. But I would go with what you said, go ahead and do it as requested and let them fulfill that. And I will work with them for that.
Okay, well, the motion is that we pay 1/3 June 1st and 2/3 July 1st. I got a motion by Alderman Driscoll, a second by Alderman Bud. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Randy Dorson,
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll,
Yes, yes.
Lee Landzadi,
Yes.
Jim Mullin,
Yes.
Chris Popetti,
Yes.
Megan Bryan.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to approve the purchase of a 2020 John Deere X750 garden tractor with high-capacity deck at a cost not to exceed $10,500 to be paid from the Cemetery Perpetual Care Fund.
I'll make that motion. I got it.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bryant. Comment, Alderman Bertle.
And I think in the future, I'm gonna have these motions reordered, because we get the same conversation each and every time we try to buy a piece of equipment for the cemetery.
two funds that are segregated to do a certain thing. And it's unfortunate for the general fund, and it's unfortunate for other departments that they're set up that way, but that's just the way it is. And so this money out of the professional care fund interest is to do just what they're doing, and what they do is to pass these mowers down. If I remember what Bill told me, is that the animal control person, Andy Goodall, is going to get one of the mowers, and then the older mower is going to go, or the new in-between mower, whichever one is going out to the airport, which is that's normally how they do it. They buy the mower for the cemetery, they pass the old mower to the airport, and I think the airport mower is going to Andy. So I know there's going to be a discussion about whether we can afford this or not. This is not going to affect the general fund. This is not going to affect another department. This is not going to affect anything that has to do with any other department.
That is correct. They can use it for equipment, they can use it for oil and shipping out there, so it's all good.
Right, roll call.
Cumberland?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Yes. Ray Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Mullin?
Yeah.
Crystal Petty?
Yes.
Nick Gray?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Motion to ratify the advertisement for bids for concrete, curb and gutter, sidewalks, fuel, and mowing for the period of May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2021. Need a motion? Motion by Alderman Skoltedi, second by Alderman Bertle. Questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Comment, Alderman Dorchenez?
Okay. When we've done this, it may be, give the business something. We're not, even with people that are volunteering to be in the sidewalk or curb and gutter program, we're not getting the job done. In other words, I know one person, is gonna spend a lot of money on the sidewalk program and the curb and gutter. And, they waited the whole summer, all last summer, and they never touched it. Well, I have a suggestion, I don't know if we have an ordinance on this, or whatever, is that if we have somebody that that wins the bid, that's the low bid, and they're gonna do, for example, sidewalks, and they're going to do it for $10 a foot, whatever it is. And if somebody is gonna have their, money spent on fixing the sidewalk and curb and gutter, we ought to take that offer and do it, and not put them off. It needs to be done. If the people that didn't bid it, it's got so much work to do that they can't get the job done that summer, I think there ought to be a time that we say, okay, if you're not gonna get it done, we're gonna give it to somebody else, and offer it to anybody that wants to do the job for the same amount of money that the person got the low bid. I don't know how you do that legally. Okay, that's a question for you. Can we do that?
Well, these are just an advertisement for bids, right? So then you decide, and I assume you got some kind of a pecking order here, people that are applying for these types of.
Somebody's gonna win, and that's the person that does all the work.
Okay, well, then if they're gonna do all the work, they have to respond and do the work as you direct.
Okay, but they got too much work, they can't get it done, is what I'm saying.
Don't accept that bid, don't accept that bid.
Well, you don't know it until the end of the summer, you see what I'm saying?
Well, I think that we need to change the form contract that basically says, put a clause in, just a simple sentence or two, that if any time they refuse us to do the work, then we terminate the contract with the next party.
Okay, that's good with me.
Okay.
You need to put a sentence or two in that form contract. If you remind me, Julie, we can do that.
Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
Ray Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Mullin?
Yes.
Crystal Petty?
Yes.
Megan Gray?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Tom Burrow?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. City Attorney update.
Three quick matters, folks. First of which is last week, we met with the attorney that's defending the city. If you recall, about a year ago, actually 9th February of last year, there was one of your police officers was involved in an accident which resulted in a lawsuit. That's Curtis Eller and Stephen Benger have each filed litigation against the city. The lawsuit's been filed. It's been promoted to the insurance company. The insurance attorney has filed an answer. Last week we went through some discovery responses that I think the police chief, with his assistant deputy chief, is going to be monitoring that. So we have no idea yet what any settlement demands have been made, but we'll keep it in policy, keep it as a phone off, pass along to you. Number two, the Cobblestone Hotel project, just to let you know, that's been put on hold. I think it's probably going to defer to probably October because of this economic turndown due to this COVID-19. We heard that they're going to check with investors whether they're willing to even proceed now because of the economic turndown. So nothing new. Lastly, on this liquid aluminum sulfate class action suit we have filed, I think that Julie has mailed proof of claim in. We know it's a late filing. We haven't heard from the court whether or not they're going to accept it. So, any questions of those three items?
No?
That's it.
Thank you, Roger. Mayor update. It's been a long 3 weeks. I've had to make decisions, some on my own and some with the help of aldermen. I will tell all of you this. Every decision I have made has been for the safety and well-being of our residents. It seems like daily I'm asked to respond to crisis after crisis. Some of these decisions I have time to call the alderman, some of these I do not. I have broad shoulders. Any decision that I make, I will take full responsibility. The buck does stop here. If any alderman disagrees with the decision I have made, please feel free to call me. Tonight, I would like to personally thank Greg Nemo of the Chris Swan Emergency Management Agency for his outstanding work, and thank you to our own chiefs, Chief Aderman and Chief Wheeler, along with HBO Andy Goodall, for their excellent work. Thank you to the aldermen who have stepped up and volunteered their services for the betterment of our community. As we move forward in order to cut expenses, no alderman or superintendent will be allowed to communicate with the city attorney or city engineer without the mayor's prior approval. We will not pay for the bill if you call the attorney on your own. Please get prior approval from the mayor. I will instruct the city attorney and city engineers to not answer any emails, texts, or phone calls from any alderman or superintendent without my approval. The city is presently experiencing financial difficulties, and we will take drastic measures to get back on track. I will make a decision this Friday on the opening of the lake lots and campgrounds as I receive more information from citizens, the state, and also our emergency management team. All aldermen are encouraged to call me on Thursday to discuss this issue. We will follow Governor Pritzker's lead as we try to get through this pandemic. As you know, with the latest figures, we have a known 23 positives with 3 deaths. I would like to thank Walmart and McDonald's for stepping up and helping our community, and any others that would like to volunteer food or services, please call my office. I know the food pantry could use help on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Also, there's a plea out there for people to deliver meals to the elderly, so if you need any information, please call my office. Thank you very much. Committee reports. No committee meetings have been held due to the COVID-19 protocols. Need a motion to approve and or ratify payment of bills.
I'll make that motion for the comment.
Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Bertle. Comment, Alderman Bud.
tonight's bills, we have a bill in there to reimburse, Mrs. Heil $1,000 for a sewer project that was done back in, I'm guessing, December. And the original bill came in the alley, it was $1,000. Tonight's bills, that current bill went from 1,000 up to 2,000. And to put it lightly, I'm not happy with that. But the original bill had 1,000, so I would like, with the council's okay, to reduce that 1,000 that she should be getting down to 500, because I don't like it that they changed the bill all of a sudden.
Okay. All right.
You want to read the other bills, or?
I'm not gonna go through all the
You're not
bills.
gonna go through the other bills, because you should all have them in front, so that's the only change.
That brings the total bills to $354,755.37.
And Mr. Budd's, motion that we pay Liz Heil $500 instead of the 1,000. So that was the motion. The second was by Alderman Bertle. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Kathy Driscoll?
Yes.
William Dougie?
Yes.
Jim Mullin?
Yes.
Driscoll City? Chris?
Yes.
McBride?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
John Burgle?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Per subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06, this portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. The Illinois Opens Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/1 et seq. mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker, can I comment?
Yes, you may.
According to the notice we put on the agenda and with the waiver of the Open Meeting Act, have you received any emails during this meeting from any member of the general public?
As of 6:30 tonight, I had not. Now, Jackie said somebody was supposed to email me, but I did not receive it.
I have the text.
Okay?
Am I allowed to read that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Her name is Ann Cody. Her mom is from here. Ann graduated from me back in 1988, so she reached out to me because she was going to reach out to the mayor, but she didn't have his email address. So her concern is basically, this is what her text is. Basically, some of my friends and I are very concerned about what has been going on, or we think is going on in Christian County regarding COVID-19. We want aggressive measures taken, even though we know much of it is too late. Curfew, no religious meetings of groups, or any sort unless online, no door-to-door or anything, etc. Yes, it violates civil liberties. Yes, it probably can't be enforced, but it can be set. We watched last night on WICS an Easter bunny going door to door in the Taylorville area, and we're led to believe it was Taylorville, but they said they're more than 6 feet apart. On camera, a child went up to the bunny inches apart from his face. There have been 3 deaths. Basing it on the other day, saying the county had less than 3. Caregivers had to be going in and out of the 2 retirement communities and could be asymptomatic but just passing on the virus. We know all of this stuff. It is just concerning. She said this is not just for me. However, although I understand some of it more than what I want, I have numerous
Okay, well, if I'll address the first one with the curfew, I have leaned on Chief Wheeler. We've talked daily on this issue. And at this time, Chief Wheeler and I do not think putting a curfew in would be any detriment to anyone. There'd be no way to enforce it. If we did put a curfew in, all they could say, hey, I'm going to the gas station to get gas for my wife, for my mom, for whatever. She has to leave early in the morning. So there's so many different things that are unknown that it would be very difficult for us to enforce, but we have considered it. But as you know, I lean heavily on our superintendents, and Chief Wheeler and I have talked daily on this issue. As far as a couple of the other issues, I would address them tomorrow possibly, and I'll just bring up something. I will go to Walmart's management tomorrow. It seemed like the consensus, maybe we could limit that. When I first talked about that, we didn't know if we had the legal authority to do it, and I guess we didn't, but now I think I probably do.
Mayor, I think I heard that Walmart is already doing a count.
Well, I was at Walmart yesterday, and it seemed like the cars were full, it was full. And whether it was just one person, I don't know. I went in and out, got some spoons and ice cream is all I bought, and they were essential for my happiness. Now, so that's something that we will address, and I thank the council for giving me that power. I will try to call each of you on the separate things, and if I have time, there's something that we will discuss. One issue I would like to bring up, and just like to get your opinion, is I talked to Mike Helton at Route 29 Customs, the 25 UTV permits that we ordinance for. He's already sold 24 of them, and he thinks he's got 5 or 6 people that will be in tomorrow to request the last one. They're busy tonight putting on their light bulbs, things for the lights. So I think it might not be a bad idea if we would expand the amount of permits. This is a trial period. I just wanted to hear individual aldermen what your thought is on that. Ms. Bryant, you had your hand up. What's your comment?
I didn't, but my comment is I'm in favor of expanding.
Okay. Any other alderman got any comments?
Well, I always look at Dr. Dick Megan, so I'm not in favor of expanding. We have a trial period just for that, so we can try it out and see if it's gonna work. We really haven't tried out the 25 quite yet, so I don't think now's the time to be expanding it. I think we ought to give it to the summer to see if we have any issues with the 25, and if we don't have any issues, like I was a proponent that we would have a lot of issues, and we haven't so far. But if we get the summer with the 25, I think that'd be more prudent than just jumping right into it because they sold out. Well, that's not a good reason to do it.
I've gotten Ms. Alderman Driscoll's opinion, also Alderman Bud. Any other alderman like to speak on this issue?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could,
Yes,
I
sir.
gotta agree with Sean, because when we put this up to committee, we increased with the 25 to, as a trial period. And, I would think we don't know how well it's gonna work, so whether we wanna open it up, if it goes south. I think 25 was the way to go, and I think we should stick to it.
All right. Okay, seeing no other comments,
Yeah, I got.
Just one quick one, and normally I would agree with Megan on this, because I'm all for this, I'm in an area that has this and works out fine. But I do agree with Sean and Jim at this point, I think
Man, I got 2.
You have me too.
okay.
25 is, I thought was a little short in the beginning, but I think it'll be easier to police. You know, I saw a guy on one the other day. I looked at his finger to make sure he had the sticker, and I hope you guys are all doing the same. I want this to succeed. You know, and I think 25 is easier to police up and keep people from ruining it for everybody else. You know, so we can
job, but I was under the impression from you that CGI is in charge of that, right?
I
Okay,
think,
we'll left a message for Curtis again today.
I think the girls will work on that in the future.
We could make a trip or a phone call to see if we can't spur the process out there a little bit.
Okay, I have one comment,
Yeah. All info to
You
net.
know, I have a new, email for my iPad, and if anybody from now on is gonna email me something, I appreciate it, if they would send city business to my iPad as opposed to my home computer, because of the fact that I was told that, because if you send city information to my home computer, I'm at risk of a FOIA request and that, okay?
What's your new email?
I don't think they're working yet.
Yeah, I don't think the email's set up either.
No, he created his own.
I mean, you know, I tried to, but somebody already gave me one, so mine is, it's out there, it's, Ward 3A at Taylorville.net. Ward 3A at Taylorville.net, that's fine. New email for my iPad.
Okay. All right, thank you. How about,
Now everybody with the new, emails for us.
right. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Dorchenez. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned.